Hello, welcome back to the Gothabilly Knits podcast. This is a knitting podcast, art podcast. I have separated my art stuff into what I'm hoping will be a fairly consistent art studio series. My name is Lindsay. I am a tattoo artist and artist that lives in the Midwest and the co-owner to a little tattoo shop called The Painted Lady in Jacksonville, Illinois. How are all of you? I hope you had a good Christmas because I have not talked to you since before Christmas, which means it is definitely coming up on a month, maybe almost two. So we have been either sick or I have a few chronic illnesses. So I had a pretty big flare-up over the holidays. And I'm still recovering from that, to be honest. I'm supposed to start red light therapy. This is a tiny health update, I guess. Both of my children are home sick today. My daughter is probably going to go back to school tomorrow. She's been sick for the last 3 days. And my son just started last night. So he'll probably be home for a couple days. And since I had some time off, I thought I might as well just do it. I kept wanting to have like more finished or this project finished or this project started before I talk to you guys again, and I'm sure you all know how that goes. It just piles up. There's never going to be really a good time or a perfect time to record again, and the more time that passed between my last podcast and this one just kind of put more pressure on, which I think is why I've stopped podcasting in the past. I started to put a lot of pressure on myself to present a certain way, because full disclosure, before I started recording, I had put on lipstick and I was wearing a cardigan, and I am now in very grubby sweatpants and I took my lipstick off. I also know this isn't going to be completely necessary to anyone but me, but my hands are going to be in the shots, and I have started the process of growing out my gel dip nails. And I know that you can soak them off, but I'm kind of scared to soak them off, so I just kind of I have really sensitive nail beds and I keep gently filing them down, and then I'll put another coat of this it's actually right here. This it's like a nail hardening solution from Sally Hansen. It was super cheap. When I got sick over the holidays, they grew out too much. I had a really hard break on this one, and it hurt really bad, and I wasn't gonna get back to the nail salon anytime soon. That's my nail story. My nails are not as pretty as they were. I'm drinking coffee from my favorite mug, that if I ever have anything happen to this mug, I am going to be so sad, because I've never found another squirrel mug that I've liked that wasn't a shape. I don't like shaped mugs. I just like normal mugs. This was just a mug from Family Dollar years ago when they used to have cool mugs, and they don't have cool mugs anymore. But this was an autumn edition, and it's my favorite mug ever. I've shown it on my channel so many times. If anyone ever sees a cool squirrel mug, send me a link for it, because if I could just have all squirrel mugs, I'd be so happy. And I'm using this coaster underneath it that I made and showed in the last podcast. Speaking of squirrels, look what I got. It's a completely useless stapler. I've tried to use it multiple times. It doesn't staple, but I love him so much and I don't care. He's a squirrel that sort of looks like a dog, is what my daughter said, but I love him. We're gonna go ahead and go to finish things before I talk a single minute more about my nails. I will preface this by saying that I feel like I started and frogged a lot of projects between last podcast and this one. I've been knitting a lot of socks because when I was sick, it was the only thing I could stand doing. It was really the only thing that made me feel better, was knitting socks. So the first finished thing I have I'm wearing, actually. It is a knit bandana that I showed on the podcast last time, and I'll put some video and pictures. I wear it one of two ways, but mainly this way, which is just kind of with the corner folded in, And so the wide part around the back of my head and then the bow at the top, so it's like a little kerchief. I've worn it as a bandana a couple times, but I do think it needs to be a little longer for a bandana, with more of a flap in the back. But for this style, it really works perfectly, and I wear it all the time like this. So that's finished. I also finished over Christmas break this pair of socks, which I had maybe talked about and really considered not even finishing on the podcast. I talked about these on the podcast very briefly a couple episodes ago, and then I was like, Christmas came and went, and I was like, there's no reason to even do these anymore. And I went to take them out of the project bag to like swap in new yarn, and I was like, man, these colors are super cute together. And I finished them in just a few days, so I'm really glad I did. This is Ruby and Roses, Glittering Pines is the green, and then the pink is from Hex, and they are from are they from Iceland? I'm so sorry. I think they were one of the last yarn dyers I worked with before closing Simply Serving. DK weight yarn, or DK weight socks, so I held all of these double, and I love them so much. And the next pair of socks I cast on are going to be in this style. But after I finished these, I immediately cast on a pair of shorty socks for my daughter, because I noticed Rory has 3 pairs of shorty socks, I think. Not that currently fit her. She has lots of others that she outgrew really quickly, so now I just knit her socks that are my size, because we're pretty much the same foot size, Rory and I are. She's 10, but she's incredibly tall, like her father. So I just knit her my sock size, because she also will take my socks and wear them. So even if they're a tiny bit big, which they're not, but even if they were a tiny bit big, she's gonna grow into them like next week. So, because that's how we've gone through so many different shoe size and clothing size just in the last 2 years. So anyway, and then my son's feet are bigger than mine, and he's 12. All that to say, I noticed that the only socks Rory has been wearing to school are the DK weight knitted shorty socks that I made her. So I was like, well, I would at least like for her to have a pair for each school day. So this will make 4. And these are, if you have been here for a while, you know that Rory always wants neon. She is obsessed with neon pink, neon blue, and neon yellow, neon green, just all of them, all of the neons. So these 2 colorways are both also from Hex. I will link them down below. These are fantastic yarns, and I don't know, they're a really, really nice human being as well. So Rory calls these her strawberry lemon sherbet socks, which I think is pretty perfect. She said she thought that the hot pink speckles throughout and then the hot pink rim made her think of strawberry lemon sherbet, so that's perfect. So anyway, she's been wearing these today. I finished them literally this morning. I tucked the ends in and gave them to her, and she actually just took them off a few minutes ago to give them to me so I could show them on the podcast, so they're going to be going right back to her. So I'll make sure they stay out. The next unexpected finished project, I kind of was going through this. I have one more project I'm going to do this to. Going through a thing where it's like, I've been working on this long enough, it is just close enough to finish that I think I should just go ahead and bind off, see where we're actually at. And so I did. I have been working on this shawl for years. Not constantly, obviously, but for years. It is a variation on, I'm gonna put it on actually. So it is a variation of the girl in the grocery store shawl, and it is a fingering weight, all hand-dyed yarns, except this one is Pickle Juice by Knitpick Stroll Brights. They don't make those anymore, which is a shame. This is Purple Jellyfish by Paper Crane Yarns. It's the most ultraviolet neon purple I've ever seen dyed up. I love it. And the rest of these, I'm pretty sure, this one's Murray Wool Goods. And I think both of these are Dragon Heart yarns. I don't remember what colors. But yeah, I really, really like it. Rory was also wearing this today while she was watching TV in her pajamas and her new socks. So, but yeah, I really like it. I think it's gonna get a lot of wear. I did make myself tuck in the ends. So I'm very proud of myself for that. It is, I do want a bigger one, which I will talk about later. I want a bigger shawl, but I needed to finish this shawl so I could know, I think, if I wanted other shawls. I might just leave this on because it's pretty. And you guys like looking at knitted things, right? We are moving on to kind of a very random collection of whips because two of the whips are not cast on yet, but they still count because they're socks, you understand. And then another one I actually haven't worked on for over a month, but I didn't include it in the last episode, even though I recorded it. But I didn't include it because I forgot. So I don't know, I like didn't put the footage in or something, who knows. This is a pair of mittens for Rory. Did I say in the last episode that the reason I make so many things for Rory and not for my son is because my son hates wool? He thinks it's itchy. So anyway, and he also refuses. He refuses to wear winter gear. I have to fight him to get him to even go out the door in a coat. So I'm not even gonna try to get him to wear hand knit gloves. Anyway, so I knit Rory a fingerless pair, a pair of fingerless mittens with mohair. I don't know, shortly before, I think autumn, right? I don't know, it doesn't matter. And she loves them, but she says her fingers are cold. So she asked if I would do a pair of full coverage mittens, and so I did. This is a self-drafted pattern. Back when I was designing mittens regularly, this was going to be part of a series that was based on just like traditional Norwegian motifs, but I have not published anything in a while. So this was the floral version. I am using a hand-dyed yarn. I think it's, I don't know who dyed this. It's beautiful. I don't remember who dyed it. And then this is Dogwood by Lion Brand Woolies, I think. So, in a size 7, I believe. So, worsted weight. If I ever finish them, they'll be very warm. But again, they're just kind of too complicated for me right now because I don't have a ton of energy. The next work in progress, my nose itches. The next work in progress I have is a pair of boot socks for either Levi or Adam. I'm not sure. I'll let them fight over it. But this is just, I did a little bit longer leg on account of the boots being longer. So this yarn is, I don't know who dyed it. Aurora just sent me a reel that she made. And in the reel I'm flipping the camera off, so it's very flattering. Anyway, this colorway I know is by, this colorway is by Dragon Horde Yarn. I don't know who did this one. It might be Dragon Horde Yarn as well. I'm using a stitch marker that I made a few years ago. Cat Squid from Coraline. And it is being held in a bag that I never put away by Puff Stitch. Because it has moths on it. And if you can't tell, I have very specific things that I'm just obsessed with, and it surrounds me at all times. So the next 2 projects are scrappy projects. They are very long-term ongoing, but because I'm in kind of a scrappy project mood, and I also have never shown these on the podcast, I thought I would show them to you. So the first one is a corner to corner crochet blanket that is being held double. There's really no rhyme or reason. I'm just holding fingering weight double and using the magic knot to join. So yeah. Not much to say about it. It's, I would say maybe, I don't know, maybe 1/3 of the way done, maybe 1/4 of the way done. I never really know how big I want these to be. So it's a fantastic shawl size right now. Don't tempt me. I'm not doing that. This is a blanket. I will get to the shawl later. But yeah, all fingering weight, held double, no, I'm just grabbing and crocheting them in. And they're all in, this should not be in there. You don't belong in here. Go away. They're all in this bulga basket. I just toss stuff in there when I'm done with it. That's been fun. I haven't also worked on it in a while, but I've been thinking about it a lot, so I'll probably pick it up again. And then another crochet scrappy blanket I have that is an incredibly long-term project. In fact, I pulled this out because I was like, you know what, maybe, I still don't know. Do you guys want to help me? I don't know. I don't promise that I will like honor the majority vote, but this is a great size right now for a table runner. And I do want a table runner, or not even a table runner, but it's like a like we have a dresser anyway where we keep like candles and stuff, and this would fit really nicely over it, and like this yellow here matches the color of the dresser, so it would look great. I cannot put it on our table right now because my son has an obsession with hot sauce. It stains every tablecloth, so I don't want to put this on there yet, but it's so beautiful. It's also 100% non-superwash wool, worsted weight. And I don't know if I want it as a blanket or an accent in the house, because I have some other, I don't know, I haven't decided. So this is either a whip or very close to being done. If I just do the table runner, all I'm going to do is throw a border around it, tuck in a gazillion ends, and maybe start on something else very similar. So that's that. I love it so much. I'm very excited for whatever it becomes because I think it's beautiful. The next two projects I have are not even cast on. I don't remember if I showed you this last time. If I did, I haven't cast it on yet, just so you know, and we'll see. So this is Electric Feel from Homespun House, which will be the little stripe around the top of the cuff. And then this is Lucky Penny from Ruby and Roses, which will be the cuff. And then for the body of the sock, I have this, and I don't remember the colorway name, but it's also Ruby and Roses. So that needs to be cast on. Socks. I'm very excited to cast on the socks. They're gonna be, I'm gonna make them the exact same way that I made the green ones. And then I'm gonna use this DPN cozy on it because it kind of matches. And it is being held in a stunning bag by Forest Ply. I don't know if at the time she gave me this she was Forest Ply, but that is who she is now. She has a YouTube channel as well. Doesn't this kind of look like the Baba Yaga house I've been working on? And then one of my favorite parts, I'm obsessed with ducks. I don't know why. I freaking love ducks. The next pair of socks that I'm going to be casting on and winding up, because I haven't even wound them up, so I guess this still counts as whips, okay? It's not future knits because they're socks, but it's in my Harpie bag, which is still one of my favorite bags. it is still one of my favorite bags because I love Harpies. They're one of Harpies and Wendigos. And this is going to be another pair of socks. Again, just, I might make a pair of shorty socks first and then do like a striping sock for the next DK pair. But this is from one of my good friends. She gifted me this colorway whenever she came to get a tattoo from me. So she is a yarn dyer called All the Colors. Her name is Tammy. I don't know who dyed this, but it's beautiful. It's going to go with it. And then I think I was also going to pair, yes, I was going to pair a hot pink with it. Isn't this very like 80s, 90s together? I love it. So I'm going to do all those together. I have to wind this up after we get done here. And oh, and she is a yarn dyer at the Fiber Universe in Peoria, Illinois. So I will be going there one day. One day I will go there. That's all I have for works in progress. And I do have one project that is like future knits that I'm going to cast on as soon as this podcast gets over. So you guys all know what the Cozy Memories blanket is. It's been around for, I don't even know how long. But after finishing this shawl, I really, really want a like Romani core, dark, moody patchwork shawl that's just huge. Like I want it to cover my whole back, and maybe, and like I would like for the front to like be able to tie around my waist. I'm going to look at the Cozy Memories blanket pattern and see if I can't just discern how to do this. But anyway, I'm going to be using lots of scraps held double with mohair, black mohair, to tone everything down because I only wear black. And that's going to be my next scrappy project, and I'm really excited about it. I hope I love it as much as everybody seems to love working with the metered square patterns. So I really don't have a ton to update you on as far as life stuff goes. Christmas was good. I don't love the holidays. They're very, very stressful, but my kids said they had a really good Christmas. We always try to make sure it's very special for them. I'm glad it's over. It just seemed so heavy this year. It seemed really, I don't know, there's been a lot of change this year for our family, and for me especially, because, you know, I went from one studio to owning another one, and not necessarily under great circumstances. So it has been a lot to come down from, come back from, and kind of rebuild from. Not necessarily clients wise, because the shop itself has been doing wonderfully. We're so grateful for our friends and our clients and each other. Aurora and her husband are just like an extension of our family, and then, you know, we have Levi, and just, we have so many good people in our life that have helped us adjust, helped me adjust. But having Christmas right after all of that was just kind of like, no, just let me rest, just let it go. And then I had the big kind of neuroimmune system thing happen. So like the flare-up happened. So that was not great, but also maybe not a surprise as far as nervous system regulation goes. Hope you guys had a really great holiday. I hope also that you are not pressuring yourselves with New Year's resolutions. I've been seeing a lot of reels and posts about why would we put so much pressure on ourselves to like renew everything or make these new resolutions when nature is sleeping and animals are sleeping. Like, it's just, it makes sense why part of us wants to fight it, because this is the time to kind of like rest. So I'm not doing any resolutions of any kind. I really don't anyway. I really don't like it. I don't like the added pressure after the pressure of the holidays. I never have. So I'm doing it very, I'm just following what the trees are doing. Like, if they're sleeping, I'm gonna just sleep and have soup and make bread if I want to, or just knit socks, because that's all my brain can handle. Or hopefully this shawl, that would be fun. If the shawl is easy, but I'm just gonna knit socks until I feel better, or until my energy comes back. And if that is spring, if it doesn't come back till spring, that's okay. When the leaves come back, then maybe my energy will come back. I don't know. But anyway, I know that's very rambly, but I kind of wanted to say it just so that if you're feeling that way, maybe you'll take comfort in that someone else is. So, I did also want to show you guys some paintings I did. I have a really big project that's like a series of paintings that I'm working on, and I was struggling so hard with them. I could not figure out what style I wanted to do it in, what medium I wanted to use, what sizing I was going to use. I couldn't figure out like necessarily a theme I wanted to do, because I didn't want to stick to a super rigid theme for 50 paintings. So I ended up just trying to go all the way back to basics for myself and my journey as an artist, and how I learned and what I learned from looking at. And I learned everything as an acrylic artist. I started with acrylic paint, and then I kind of went more into watercolor. So what I ended up landing on was gouache, which is one of my favorite mediums to work with, because it's so flexible, but it's opaque, so it's like the previous layers, if I need to get rid of them, I can. Anyway, so the first painting I did will surprise none of you, is a moth, and it is Anthorea. And then the second one I did, blackberries. And then the third one is back here, and it's still taped to the board. Scissors. I'm excited to finish that. It's really close to done. And then I've also been working on miniature miniature painting jewelry, toll painting. Essentially it's folk art. My grandma, she painted, there was so many things around her house that she had painted with acrylic, and I grew up around that. And it is until like really recently that like I realized, oh wait, not everyone's grandma painted everything with like folk art. I think because I was just so used to it, and because of just everything else that kind of went along with my childhood, like it didn't seem very special to me. We're moving on from that. Anyway, so here's a bunch of stuff that I'm working on, and I'll hold up. And then we also have all of these rings. You see the little gooses and the ducks? Aren't they so cute? So I have all those I'm working on. We have a Valentine's event that we're going to be doing with the local bookstore. Oh, hang on. Bookstore. I'll try to remember. And so I wanted to have some like jewelry and like Valentine's-y stuff to present, to have for people if they wanted. But anyway, also I had my first book club. It went really well, like really well. A lot of people showed up. I think there were almost 20, maybe 20. I don't know. The whole bookstore, it wasn't full, but like it was pretty full. I mean, it's a little bookstore, but it was still a lot of people. There were crocheters, knitters, people coloring, embroidery. Someone was like cutting out like curtains and sewing them, or like basting them like on the floor. What was someone else doing? It was kind of like embroidery, but it was like collage embroidery. It was really cool. There was someone over in the corner that was doing something. I think she just had her laptop and she was just working, but it was really, really wonderful. I also am shipping off a batch of hand-painted stitch markers for a yarn shop for a very dear friend of mine, and I can't wait for her to receive those. She was very kind, and just like, she told me, you know, like, we'd worked together before, but she had told me that she really loved what I had been making, like with the tulle art on and the folk art on my stitch markers, and pretty much just met me where I'm at and said, like, whatever you're working on, if you have this many sets of stitch markers, I will take them. And I was like, oh, okay. So that was, I hadn't worked that way before. I'm used to doing like bulk batches of things as a made to order. So I really, really liked that, and I'm looking forward to doing more like small wholesale type things like that. I hope that you are all taking care of yourselves, being gentle with yourselves, not putting too much pressure on yourself, and just keep doing what makes you feel energized and happy through this winter. And I will see you next time. Bye.